Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and so far today I've just done a bunch of cleaning, laundry, and cutting the grass, which is never my favorite chore because usually the lawnmower makes it feel like it's 20 degrees warmer and I'm a sweaty mess. So yeah, it's quite productive. I'm doing a bunch of house chores. And I have done some reading, and if you saw my last vlog, you would have seen I was reading Exiles by Jane Harper. I just finished it, and I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. We are still kind of trying to get more answers to about Kim, and really that's everything leading up to learning what happened to her. We do know that something happened in the reservoir when she was about 16, over 20 years prior, that left her startled and kind of left her not wanting to be anywhere near the reservoir. And we do still have a lot of questions. And at one point, Folk is in town because he is to be the godfather to his best friend's son. And during the questioning of it, his friend's grandmother makes some sort of, not, I would say, great inappropriate, no, great comment about the fact that Zoe, Kim's daughter with her husband, looks a lot like Zara, who was Kim's husband with Charlie, her previous boyfriend. And with when Zoe was a newborn, she looked a lot like Zara, and it leads to a whole, and it's not even a comment itself, but it's this, they doubt that it would place in the husband's head about the fact that Kim, I'm not Kim, that Kim might have had an affair while they were married and whatnot. And you see at the festival how Folk just really figures everything out. They are walking along the reservoir and on the way back, and Ava, who is his friend's daughter, just waves at people on the ride, and it's like apparently something that everyone in town do, and it leads Folk to just really think about like everything that's happened and everything he knows and what he saw at the festival the year prior, because he saw Kim's husband wave at who he thought was Kim on the Ferris wheel, and someone waved back, and it's like, it's apparently what people do in town. And with the details we have of Kim, like medium height, brown hair, light shirt, black pants, I mean, that could be any woman. And while some people might have had sightings of her, no one that she knew saw her. And we do learn what happened to Kim and who's involved in. I did not really love this wow that it went down. Okay, skip, like, I'm gonna put down the book, and if you don't want the spoilers, because I just need to, just skip until I put this down. But essentially, Kim's husband, Rowan, he didn't take advantage of her on a reservoir when she was 16. However, she was drunk, she was stumbling around, and she heard someone say, relax, and he was helping her while she was drunk, and her friend came along and helped her, and it gave one this feeling that he likes the power he has when someone's in a vulnerable place. And we learned that when he initially was from this town, and the fact he is, I guess, our suspect in this, or our, makes sense, because he's the only one who's considered an outsider in this group. Like, he only came into this group because of his relationship to Kim. And we see how throughout Kim, through their marriage, that he, I would say, was quite manipulative in a sense. He put doubt in Kim's head that eventually led her to leave her job, and he also had doubts about the parental of his daughter, of Zoe, as for some reason he got in his head that she was having an affair with Charlie, even though she hadn't been back in her hometown since she moved to Adelaide, and she hasn't seen Charlie since then, and he is kind of influencing her to distance herself from her friends, as she doesn't want to hear anything about Charlie or tell them anything that would lead them to tell Charlie. So we do see how it's quite not an healthy marriage with him being him, but that sort of paternal question of is Zoe really his daughter makes sense, because he does have those doubts in his mind. So yeah, and yeah, so we do get answers on that, and we also have this plot of Joe trying to figure out what's happened to his father, as his father was killed in a hit-and-run, and he just wants answers. And I think I mentioned in my previous vlog, I had a theory, and I'm gonna say it just because it's not mine, but I don't know what happened to his dad. I mean, kind of came out of left field, but it also kind of makes sense with information we learn, but really it's a parent trying to protect their child from the consequences of their actions, and it's not sure if that how I feel about that, because this person did die from overdosing, but alcohol poisoning, I guess, or drinking too much. I'm not entirely sure what the right term is. So, and there is a certain thing in this novel that I do like. Aaron, he's developing feelings for a woman who wants the festival, a woman named Gemma, and there was something 16 months prior in Melbourne, and he's intrigued. He likes her a lot, and because of his job, he's not really able to get away and not really have a a proper relationship, because he's always busy. Like, he looked in his diary, and out of 52 weeks of a year, he couldn't find a singular one. And he does like Gemma, who I think what he does, I mean, maybe it's they know they're not but it's a bit fast. Like, he does give up his entire career and life essentially for a woman he doesn't really know, like a woman he not even an intentional date. He and Gemma were supposed to have drinks with his friend, and that friend had to bail. The friend couldn't make it, sorry. So, an unintentional date, and since then we see them getting closer, so. But he does leave his job in Melbourne, which I think he was hesitant about doing, because he spent so hard working to be in this position, and he gave so much up, and something he regrets, regret giving up is spending time with his dad when he was in university, because he wanted to get the grades he needed to get into the job he wanted, and he would just not go home during the weekends to watch football with his father, or I guess whatever Australian football is, because I imagine it's quite different to American, I'm not sure, but. And he no longer can spend time with his father, as his father did die from cancer, so there's that, but we do see how and along the way, he kind of, this moment of convenience, he gets a I guess job offer from his best friend's brother, being like, oh, you can help at the books. You don't have to be an accountant, but just help us look at the books too before we send them to our accountant. And yeah, you see him get happily ever after in a way. So overall, I just had fun with this, and I'm giving it 4 stars. And I'm gonna talk about the book I plan to read next tomorrow. So yeah, and that's all for now. So it's the next day, and so far I've done some work, and as you saw, I did go to the beach, which was quite nice, and I think it's the only day this week I'll be able to go, it's gonna be quite busy this week, and the latter half of the week is also supposed to be a bit chilly, so, well, not chilly, but not so hot, I should say. And I also went to this used bookstore that I like on a shoreline of my state. I think it's called a Book Barn, and there's like 3 locations. I went really just to the main one, just to donate books and really sell books, I should say. And that was interesting because the people in front of me, I think they were moving because they had like at least 12 boxes, like moving boxes of books, and I think so that just took a long time for the people at the bookstore to handle it. Yeah, did not buy anything just because I think that main location is more literature and classic works, and I just didn't really see anything that caught my eye. So, and I have also done some reading, and I started the 7 Moons of Mahali Meda by Shihan Kahun Tokaka. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that name. And I don't know if this is translated, because I don't see a translator at all. But this is about Colombia, 1990. Mahali Meda, war photographer, gambler, and closeted queen, has woken up dead in what seems like a celestial visa office. His dismembered body is sinking in the serene Barra Lake, and he has no idea who killed him. In a country where scores are settled by death squads, suicide bombers, and hired goons, the list of suspects is depressingly long. As the ghosts and ghosts with grudges who cluster around can attest. But even in the afterlife, time is running out for Mahali. He has 7 moons to contact the men and women he loves most and lead them to the photos that will walk Sri Lanka. A whip-roaring state of the nation epic. And right now I am on page 54, and in university I took a class where I think we watched a film about what happened in Sri Lanka, how there were different groups that were just kind of against one another. I'm going to be talking about the Liberating Tigers of Tamil LM and the Jenef and another, Jenef Vim Ukif Paramuna. I believe those 2 groups are against one another. And it's all kind of, it's not those 2 groups, it's like a bunch of other groups, and it's all a bit messy, and it's like, if you're loyal to one group, or if you're seen as a sympathizer for one group, it can cause you a lot of problems. It can be the reason that you're killed, and if you're supporting another one. And Molly, he is just a photographer, and he will sell his pictures to really anyone, to both groups, to the Sri Lankan government, to newspapers, to the British embassy, and he organizes his photos and boxes by what is it, like the card style, like Ace of Spades and King Queen, that kind of thing. And we do learn a bit of his personal life, how he was in a relationship, I would say, with someone named Didi, who he had to say was his roommate. And this is like 1991, he dies, and we go through like kind of the last few years of his life, and we learn like who he was, besides the fact he was a photographer. He was just someone who, it seems like, enjoyed sex quite a lot, because there's one point where he mentions he was counting how many people he slept with and stopped when it hit triple digits, like, which was quite interesting. And when he's in this office, it seems like he has to be examined before he can be told his moons, before he can told what his fate lies and what lies ahead. And he has 7 moons to do this, otherwise he's just stuck in this, I guess, in between of being a ghost or, a ghost, where he cannot really move on. And he meets this figure in a black cloak, and when he shows him what's been happening, and who claims that Molly tried to kiss a few years prior, so there's that. And we just see how we are just getting a story of like him seeing what's happened with his body, how initially they goons who were hired to kill him tried to sink it alongside some other bodies, but they're not successful, so they just cut him up. So yeah, so far I'm liking the writing, and yeah, and I don't think I'll be doing any more reading today, just because I'm not feeling so great. I don't know why. If you followed this channel for a while, you don't know I do get at least once a month some stomach issues. So yeah, that's gonna be fun to deal with, but I'm just gonna take it easy for the rest of the day. And yeah, I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and so far I've done some work and whatnot, and I have also done some more reading of the 7 Moons of Mahali Almeda, and I'm currently on page 142, and currently I am quite liking this book. I swear there's some books where this feels weird to use the word enjoy, because enjoy doesn't seem, it's a positive attribute, and it's like, oh, I'm enjoying reading about all of this violence. So yeah, anyway, I'm getting in my own head about it. So but we see how something I'm finding interesting is there's not only ghosts in this world of Mahali. It is, I'm assuming, ghosts. It seems like they're more peaceful, and we also have ghosts who are more resentful. We also have demons, which I'm not fully like, I don't know, it's kind of being explored. But and with the ghosts, there are people who are full of resentment, especially around the circumstances of how they died, like how they were killed. And some of them, they group together and wait until everyone involved in their death has also died, and then they torture them. So there's that. It's the pain, I guess, that you feel, and the anger you have over how you were treated and how you were killed, and how not right it was that you just want your revenge on those who did harm to you. And Mahali, he's being told, get your ears checked and do all the things that will allow you to remember how you died, but also you then have to lay in the river that will also cause you to forget everything about this life in order for you to move on to your next life. And he's being encouraged to do that because it's the only right thing to do. Like, he can't linger in this life. And he's also being told that he should not forget, because what is happening now, even in death, is something that should not be forgotten about. It should be remembered even in the afterlife. So I do find that quite interesting, to see argument of should you or should you not, because you are, that it's like, it's not like you can do anything to stop what is happening, what is currently happening to those around, to those you love. I mean, how they'll be killed and who knows what will happen to them. So I do find it interesting, and it seems we are learning more of some of the stuff of his activities, how he was recruited for this company who call themselves Center. How it seems like it's this organization that's supposed to try to bring peace and whatnot. I'm trying to find what center means, but it seems like, yeah, they're just trying to bring peace and acknowledge what's been going on and try to bring, I guess, justice against those who have been doing the harm. But it doesn't seem like they're anything official, so I'm quite curious on what exactly they're doing, because it seems like there's something with the Canadian in Norway, so. And apparently he did work for them, took a bunch of pictures for them, pictures that they want, and some of these pictures are extremely gruesome, and they are looking for it. And one of the, I guess, leaders of this organization has gone to the police to kind of help her find these pictures, because it is important for her. And something I forgot to mention yesterday is that when Mahali's loved ones go to the police to try and find answers, when his boyfriend, his roommate, his mom try to do that, they're not the only ones at the police station trying to find loved ones, because this is also a time where people are going missing and people are desperate for answers, and the police are doing everything that they can. But it's like, for a lot of these people, like, they will never see their loved ones again. I guess it's like a form of denial that maybe, like, their loved ones are gone forever. Like, I guess it's like the last bit of hope that maybe they've been arrested, or maybe something else happened. Maybe there'll be some logical answer. So I do find that interesting, and we do learn where he kept these pictures that he was trying to hide, and how they were found by everyone. And his boyfriend's, I think, dad works for something in the government and has some power, and he calls his boss, who's like, yeah, I'm taking these pictures. So yeah, now Mahali just has to lead everyone to the negatives of these pictures, which he has to remember to where they are. And yeah, so from this, finding this quite interesting, and how we are exploring his memories, even through some of these memories, because he doesn't exactly remember. It's like almost physically painful, and how different smells will bring them up or something. So, I'm intrigued on what will happen next, and learning really on how, if you are of a certain ethnic group, there's problems for you, and that it's good. And like it even depends on the last name that you have, and if you have a certain last name, you're safe or you're lucky or what have you. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, I think that's all I want to say. So that's all for now, and I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and it is August 12th, meaning it is my birthday. And yeah, I turned 27 today, which is nice. I'm glad just to be living another year. So, and as you saw, I did go out today. I just went to the shoreline part of my state, and went to another one of those huge bookstores. It's really one huge bookstore, but it like has 3 different locations. And well, I did get one book. I just got The House of Whispers by Laura Perville, for sale, I mean. And in it, this is a funny surprise. I just found this cool postcard from Vogue. I like it, so yeah. And yeah, I just walked and which is nice. The weather was nice and got Chinese and yeah. So it was a nice day. And I have done some reading of The 7 Moons of Mahali Melda. Put me on page 234. And I do have to say I am liking this quite a lot. And with this we are seeing more of kind of some things that led up. Not led up, but kind of the, I guess, aftermath of Mahali's death, how he is desperate to talk to Jackie and Dee Dee, his beloved ones, to tell them where the pictures are and whatnot. And he goes to this person called a woman, where it's like the ghost will do him a favor, and after he communicates with their loved ones, and he tries to talk to them, and they're not the only one after the pictures, because he needs the pictures in their hands. His former bosses at Center also are after them, and they think they found it. And I think I mentioned yesterday that a government official who wants the pictures out of their hands also takes them. So yeah, there's that drama, and we do see how there's negatives of these pictures that he is trying to get into the hands of his loved ones, so that his story, what his there is something of him left behind besides these stories people make up, or people just don't really fully understand, because later on his remains are discovered in the lake alongside a bunch of other bodies, and Didi and Jackie, they are the ones to tell his mom the bad news, and he's like, he hated me so much, he was attention seeking, like all of this negative stuff, like when blaming her for the fact his dad left, and he's like, that's not accurate, but I'm dead, so my story's in other people's hands for them to tell, which does make sense, because when you're, and I should say I do that, because when you're gone, your story's out of control, or out of your hands, and really that's something that is sipping when you're alive, because other people do tell a story about you. And we do learn some of these pictures how they could have gotten him in a lot of trouble. Maybe one of those pictures is the reason he's dead, who knows, because it's like a picture of 3 people that should not have been photographed. And when he mentioned to one of the journalists he was working for, they're like, I hope you're joking. So yeah,
And something I'm liking about this as well is that he's looking around and seeing these ghosts that's kind of clinging on to people, whispering stuff in their ear, and it's like, when you have a thought or an idea, it's the question of, is it really your own thought, or is it the thought, an idea of someone else, someone lingering there? So I do like that. And I know we have a lot of government officials involved, and some dealing with the I guess leaders of center and how they might be in trouble, and not trouble, but they might be watched. So we're just seeing the aftermath of Mahali's remains being discovered. So so far liking it. And I think that's all for now. So I'll see you when I... So it's the next day, and so far I've done some work and whatnot, and I have done some reading of the 7 Moons of Mahali and Mada, and I'm on page 308. Yeah. And something I've been forgetting to mention throughout this update, this video, sorry. Yeah, these updates, sorry. Is we do see Mahali's relationships with Jackie and Didi. How with Jackie they moved in together and they were close friends, and they led people to believe that they were a couple to get Jackie out of a situation she was in that was making her really uncomfortable, and how initially they were more, I don't know, touchy-feely and more physically affectionate, with one another. And slowly that's stopped, and slowly he was drifting towards Didi. And how high likely Jackie didn't know about him and Didi. And we do see his relationship with Didi, how I would not say it is the most healthy relationship, as there were always these serious arguments, it seems like, where they would not be talking to one another. Didi, I guess he didn't know, but he would always be asking Mahali when he came back from excitement if he slept with anyone, if he did anything with anyone, if he ever really cheated. And Mahali, he would lie and say he didn't cheat and try to justify it. It's like, oh, I only did this with this individual, but it doesn't count because I never saw their face. Like, it wasn't anything face to face, or it was just. And we also see how Didi, he wanted to leave Sri Lanka and go to places where, in his eyes, he would probably feel more accepted. How he wanted to go to San Francisco, and where he thought it would be more accepting there, and it probably was. I'm not entirely sure how San Francisco was in 1990, but yeah. And we do see Mahali kind of continue on how the Minister of Justice, the one who took the pictures, he's like, oh, I promise I will give you the body, or I promise I will deliver these pictures, when it's like, he never intends to carry out his word, because he has Mahali's body burned, as well as the physical copy of the photographs, while also keeping an eye on the center team to see if they have the negatives and what they're planning. And somehow Eliza, who is one of the members of center, she is able to leave the hotel she's living in while the hotel is under surveillance by the minister. So there's that. And we do see after the bodies are burned how Sena, who is the ghost who is helping Mahali, and Sena, he's not someone you can trust entirely, because he does have his own agenda, as he is working for a demon, and he needs to be, this demon is a certain amount of people, or
and not force, but encourage a certain amount of souls not to go towards the light. We see how Sanya and some other ghosts they are able to kill the people that killed him. So there's that, and we see how Jackie and Dee Dee, they are able to find the negatives as the person who's not helping, but encouraging Mahali to go towards the light, tells him how to kind of whisper to people and how to help people think through their dreams, and how the negatives are eventually found, and some of them are developed, and some of them that he did not want developed, including certain pictures he took of men. So, yeah, and what we got is like the days leading up to his death, how he did have this contract with the army, and it was just making him angry what he was seeing, and how he would be hired and be taken to a place where a bomb or shooting would occur and be forced to photograph the dead tigers to kind of be used for the government propaganda to show like, oh, the Tamil tigers are horrible and one of them must be killed and whatnot. And apparently you do see some of him like in, I guess not in action, but when he is caught up in a bombing or whatnot, how he was left behind and forced to take like a long bus ride back to the capital, and how he was let go from his contract, as apparently some of the army, some of the soldiers said that they slept with him and tried to make it seem like he forced himself on him, when I don't really know if that's the case. I don't think that is. I think they're just trying to cover themselves. But and he's taken to this building where people are kept and tortured, and he's allowed to walk around without a blindfold, because the next time he'll be there, he'll be the one tortured, probably. So yeah, he's there, and we do see how the ghosts of those who've been killed are still. And something I am finding interesting about this is it's with this war, this conflict in Sri Lanka. It's not just between this ethnic group and that ethnic group, between the government and this ethnic group. It's more like other nations are getting involved. Like the British are selling guns to the soldiers. The Americans are bringing in torturers, or the CIA. The Americans are bringing in CIA operatives to teach the soldiers how to torture. You also have the Indians coming in, so it's like there's many factors, and I'm assuming each of the governments of these countries do have their own agenda, and that is something I'm finding quite intriguing. So yeah, so far still liking it. And I think that's all for now, so I'll see you next. So it's the next day, and so far I've done some work and whatnot, and I have done some reading, and I have thus now finished The Seven Moons of Mahali Amada. And overall, I like this. I thought it was interesting seeing like how the wars, the conflict, it's kind of removed from Colombo. I'm sorry, I definitely mispronounced that. How it still does affect the life there, but it's not like the active battlefield. It's like where the behind the scenes, like people planning and plotting and people trying to prevent certain information from being released and kind of control the narrative that the common people hear, and how there are curfews set in stone to ensure like those who are in the government are able to do what they need to do in order to have this control. And we see how, okay, Mahali, he is in the, what he calls the palace, which is where people are taken to be tortured, and no one will leave the palace alive, unfortunately. And he sees that his friend Jackie has been kidnapped and is there to be asked where the negatives are, and if she doesn't give the answers that is expected of her, she'll be tortured and killed. And Mahali, he is desperate to save her. He goes to the woman, who's really of no help to him, and then he learns who Senia's boss is, which is this figure named Macaulay, which is this sort of, I guess, demon that takes on people who, it seems like they're full of resentment, and uses the fact that there's so much anger in how they died and who killed them to kind of almost, I would say, manipulate them and force them to kill. And they want to blow up the office building with the minister and another, a major, there we are, and as well as with the receptionist and the administrative assistants and everyone who works in the building who is innocent of choosing the crimes. The only crime they're guilty of is just choosing the wrong job. And Mahali, feeling like he has no choice, is desperate to find a way to save Jackie, and he does join McCall's group in order to get 3 wishes, and he has to do what he wants him to do, like what McCall. Oh my god! 1 minute, let me just figure out how to say this being's name, because I have a feeling I'm about to pronounce that with and if I didn't through, I swear I would have done. But here we see how Mahali, he's fine with killing the major and minister. He doesn't feel right about killing the innocents, and he is able to find a way to save the innocents while trying to kill the evil. And it's like, hoping when he's trying to kind of talk reason into Senya, who's like, this is war, innocents die in war, and it's like, I still do find it interesting that even in afterlife this war doesn't end, because war is the reason they're dead, and it's like, they want their revenge, and they don't care, and about the, not casualty, but the people who are, like, in a way, people who are in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there's probably a proper word for that, but I'm blanking out for it. So here we see that, and we see how Mahali, he does end up in the river that he's supposed to, and he is given a choice to drink something, and we see what he chooses. And really the aftermath of that, how he is a receptionist in this like afterlife visa place, helping souls and giving them advice on what they should do and what they think would help them. And it's all quite interesting, and we do get snippets of his friends, like afterwards, how Didi meets someone and they leave Sri Lanka, how Jackie meets someone and almost, it seems like, has forgotten Mahali, how his photographs are seen by ghosts, and rarely the living through the living are seen, and we see the living do see them, and we see how his photographs are being taken by people who want to destroy them. So and we do see how he died and what caused it. Like, there have been, I guess, whispers or whatever that his death was political, and that's not exactly the case. It's because of who he loved, and how the father of that boy wanted to protect his son, and thought that his son, like, just wanted to protect his son from certain diseases and from certain things and certain places, and thought that the way he could protect his son the most was to get Mahali out of his life and for his son to go back to being a lawyer, and Mahali refused, and that was his death for refusing to stop loving a boy he loved. So yeah, we do see how Mahali initially he did want to wait until his mother was dead and in the afterlife, but he decided, I think I've done all I have to do in this life. So we see how he goes into the light and forgets about this life. So yeah, overall, I liked the book, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. And yeah, and I don't think I'll be doing any more reading today. I'll see about that, but if not, then I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I did do my grocery shopping today, and that's about it, really. And I have done some reading, and the book I started is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. And this is about Touraine is a soldier, stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. She owes loyalty to only her fellow conscripts, but now her company has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone desperate enough to tiptoe the bonnet's edge between treason and orders. Someone who can sway the rebels toward peace while Luca focuses on what really matters. Getting her uncle off her throne. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Touraine and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. And with this, I'm only on page 52. I do plan to do some more reading, but I just wanted to update this vlog before I got too late and I just got too tired. And so far I'm finding it quite interesting. We do learn of the fact that Touraine's homeland, a country called Kazo, it has been colonized by another nation called Baudari. I definitely mispronounced those names, but oh well. And that when Touraine, when she was a little girl, she was taken from Kazo and sent and taken to Baudry, where she was trained to be a soldier, where she was educated. And it seems like she isn't the only one to have this done to her. It seems like the soldiers in Baudry, they would just take children from their families and send them to be in the army. And we learned that many of the children there, they have memories of their homeland, while Touraine, she was just very little, so she doesn't remember anything of her homeland, and she thinks she needs to be grateful for Baudry for taking her in, because it is there she learned to read, to write, where she was taught, and it seems like she wasn't taught in Kazi. And we do learn that that anyone who was taken from their homelands to be brought to Baudry, they were essentially forbidden from talking about their homelands. Like, they would be beaten severely if they were a bit nostalgic, if there was a suspicion that they were nostalgic about their homeland. So yeah, but we start with Touraine on a ship heading towards Kazi, and how they've been sent to put down this rebellion, and things don't go off well because the crowned princess Luca, she's also there, and there is an assassination attempt on her life which Touraine saves her from, and they do hang the rebels who tried to assassinate her after interrogating them. But from what I understand, it wasn't really much of an interrogation, and one of them recognizes Touraine, even though it seems like it's been decades since she's been back to housing. And we do learn with Torin, she is a lieutenant in this army. What is it exactly? Her company. And she's trying to get this position of captain of it. And I'm like, I don't know, something in me, I'm like having doubts about it because I don't really think she'll be given this promotion. Like, she, I think, in the eyes of her captains or those above her, they will still see her as this other, so someone who shouldn't have the right to this position. So I'm curious in how that turns out, and we see her friendships and how with the others who are also like have been taken from their homelands, and how being in Kaze makes them feel things like they didn't think they would feel. They thought they would be able to separate themselves from who they once were, and from a place they haven't been back to since they were young children. I'm quite curious in where that goes. And with Luca, we learn that her uncle has been seated on a throne and he has no desire to give it up to his niece, which it seems like she is the rightful heir of the throne, and he was her regent. I think that's the word. Her parents died from this illness a long time ago, and yeah, and it seems like something is wrong with her leg, as she does use a cane and she's not able to sit crisscross and whatnot. So I'm curious in learning more about that, and in fact I think that's upset with this situation. Like, a lot of people doubt her, and she's not sure who she can trust, or if people are actually being serious, or if they're just trying to not sugar up to her, but sweeten up to her, I guess, like get close to her, so they are also in a position. And we're at the dinner where we see different viewpoints on different methods of teaching, how some are a bit more violent, while others, I would say, a bit more gentle, and how someone who is Kazi, someone who is low on the societal scale, is at this dinner table as the husband of the general governor. So I do find that quite interesting, and just curious in seeing, like, when I learn. And Luca, it seems like she is extremely curious about this magic that's in this land, and she wants to go to this place where this knowledge was held. But when this country was conquered, sorry, I don't know why I did quotation marks, sorry. When this country was, I don't know, taken over and colonized, the colonizers obviously went for the books, as this is a country where there are older beliefs. I mean, they have gods they believed in, and what is the name of the country that's the colonizer again? Oh my word. Baldari believed their gods as superstitions, like it's not real. So yeah, but yeah, nothing left of that library, even if she wants just to learn. And seems like she thinks she might have an ally on her side with the general governor, and with someone who is one of her bodyguards, who was close to her father as well. And she might, I don't know, something might be with her and Torin, but yeah, so far I'm just curious. So yeah, and as it is Saturday, that also means that's the end of this video. So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel. And if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video. Bye.